In this video, I hope to convince you that metacognition and developing metacognition in your students depends on cultivating and fostering mindfulness. And using mindfulness-based meditations can be a great way to train students to be more mindful. Let's think about what these words really mean, and hopefully it will become kind of obvious about where the overlap is and why these two ideas are so closely related. Well, mindfulness is, in essence, non-reactive, present moment awareness, and mindfulness practice involves fundamentally shifting one's relationship to thoughts and thought processes. In day-to-day life, we tend to get caught up in habitual thinking that we're not particularly conscious of, and in this sense we're kind of lost in unconscious thought processes. And I wonder the extent to which many of our students, as they're getting on with their work in lessons, are actually kind of lost in thought. They might be thinking about what they're going to have for dinner tomorrow, thinking about what their friends are thinking of them, thinking about something that happened yesterday, lost in thought about the past and the future, and not really tuned in to the present moment, to the here and now engagement with the learning activities that they're meant to be engaging with very consciously in lessons. Metacognition is often defined or understood in terms of that very practical process of planning, monitoring, evaluating and regulating the thought processes that are going on during the broader learning process. And the monitoring aspect of this metacognitive cycle is clearly related to mindfulness. When we are being mindful or doing mindfulness practice, we are monitoring the cognitive processes that unfold in our minds. And at the same time, metacognition is often defined as having three components: metacognitive knowledge about oneself as a learner, metacognitive regulation about how one can employ different thinking strategies, and finally, crucially, metacognitive awareness, which in a way really is where it must all begin. It's the very foundation of the whole thing, because without metacognitive awareness, how can you ever gain metacognitive knowledge? How can you ever reach that final phase of the metacognitive cycle of regulation? So I hope you're convinced that metacognition is deeply aided by and perhaps completely dependent on mindfulness. And how do we cultivate mindfulness in our students? Traditionally at least, mindfulness is cultivated through a series of meditation practices where we dedicate a period of time to actually practicing that psychological capacity to engage with the present moment and not react to it. So at the Global Metacognition Institute, we sought to put together a pack of resources that would make it very easy for teachers and educational leaders to engage students in mindfulness practice and indeed other approaches to meditation, so that we can boost their learning power and increase their levels of metacognitive awareness. The resource pack has 6 main components. There are some lessons about mindfulness meditation, about how students can use meditation to, over time, increase their learning power. We have some resources about how students can improve their attitude and motivation using gratitude meditation and other approaches to meditation that can help to elevate their attitude towards learning and perhaps feel and cultivate a bit more gratitude towards the opportunities they have in school. There are also some resources which explore other types of meditation, all of which I should say are completely secular approaches to meditation. There's no religious teachings hidden in there or anything, so you don't need to worry about that. And the resource pack also includes a set of posters that you can print off to help raise awareness of this issue and the importance of meditation and mindfulness when it comes to improving learning power, increasing learning power, and raising levels of metacognitive awareness. So do go to globalmetacognition.com to check that out. As with all of our resources, you can use the promotional code YouTube123 to get this resource for half price.